you, Eileen, again. And we've heard and we've seen with more examples, we are looking at the importance of more and more specificity around the how do we map. So basically, before we map it, we need to understand basically what is the procedures we are doing, how does it, what does it mean, what's involved in it, and how it is reflected in the CCHI billing system, and then choose those new codes correctly and reflect our current pricing on those new codes, or maybe up and down if we want to go back and discuss with the insurance company. So can you talk us through about specificity more and the importance of having this, let's say, documentation properly on the price list, because that will reflect also on the documentation of the physician as well. So I would like to hear your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I think yeah, some of the examples around specificity is, and it sort of goes back to what Noura was saying before around how many of the descriptions that we have seen have sort of been bundled together. So, say for example, we'll quite often see you know, fine needle aspiration, breast or thyroid. So our sort of advice is that the description would need to be separated out, so that you would have, instead of you know, breast or thyroid, that you're having fine needle aspiration breast, and then the next description is fine needle aspiration thyroid. So this is part of that review that you would need to take place, and to split out whenever you've got descriptions that say and or they have, sometimes you'll have a you know, a dash in to group many things together. So you've got to look out for those in your price list to see if you can actually then separate them out. So again, you know, open reduction fracture of finger or toe, you know, there's, for the finger, there is specificity around, you know, the distal, middle, proximal parts of the finger as well, so that gets split out again. And there's different codes for an open reduction fracture of a toe, and you know, even more specifically, there's a separate code for your big toe, for example. So, you know, this is just to understand the way that the classification works, and to ensure that the body part and the area of the body is described within those descriptions, and that you unbundle some of those descriptions that you're used to. So and these, you know, these are critical in terms of, you know, a pleural or abdominal tap. You know, they're very separate, very different procedures, and will have a different price attached to those. And when you move to a DRG funding model, you know, this will become very important, because your procedure will be the driver of what DRG your case will fall into. So it's important to do that sort of hard work now, and before, you know, from an inpatient perspective, the move to DRGs. So it is important to split out your descriptions, and you know, this is to ensure that the correct code is assigned or is mapped to that.
Okay, thank you, Eileen. So basically, the recommendations here is to be as specific as possible when we are looking at the description, to map it to the correct code, right?
Absolutely. And I think it's probably, if I was at a hospital and we were starting this process, I think it is important to probably establish a working party of people who can go line by line by line. You have to go line by line by line of everything and review that, because your interpretation from a clinical perspective may differ from somebody from the billing department, for example, or somebody who's submitting this information to the payer. And also, if you have clinical coders on site, their interpretation of a description may be at odds with the clinician. So you need to sort of agree that that description means, this specific procedure. So some of them are, 80% of it's easy, but there's 20% of it you're like, you've said it's this, but it could be classified in a number of different ways, or mapped in a number of different ways. So you then need to agree that that description, that description means this particular medical service. So it's not always easy, but you need to have the appropriate people around the table to help with that process. It shouldn't come down to one or two people, because certainly their interpretations of particular procedures, a neurosurgeon's probably not going to be across what's happening in dental, for example. So there will be some challenges around understanding the certain descriptions within certain specialties. So it's important that you do engage a wide variety of clinical and administrative staff to undertake this task.
Clear. Thank you so much, Eileen.